Hello race fans and welcome to the Nürburgring Nordschleife, also known as the Green Hell for very good reason. My name is Peter Mackay and joining me in the commentary box is Andrew Thompson with Marco Barbanera, bringing beautiful images of the Nürburgring Nordschleife and also our snazzy SDK Gaming graphics as well. We are here for the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship, single make racing, all using the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup. And Andy, it's been a very tightly contested season so far, but the last couple of rounds, we've had a certain Manxman making his way to the top. So at the moment on the championship standings, we have Kamil Grabowski leading by 422 points, but Josh Thompson just catching up now. He's won a number of races over the last couple of rounds and on 390 points. So very much on the way. Pascal Costa not far out of touch either as we head towards the latter part of the season. Andy, now I hear in the background, are you there, sir?
I am. I'm sorry about that. A little bit of IT issue there, but I think we all have it. I'm with you now, so that's good. No, looking forward to tonight's race. A bit of a different format normally than the normal rounds within the Porsche Cup. Obviously, 2 rounds. First round 3 laps. Second round 4 laps. So it should be interesting on this track. And I'm quite honoured to be in the commentary booth with such a ring professional as yourself, Peter.
Well, that's very, very kind indeed. If you're new to the Nürburgring Nordschleife, we're going to try and take you on a little bit of a tour of this incredible circuit. Unlike in the Nürburgring 24 Hours, we're not going to use the Grand Prix circuit. It will just be the Nordschleife section itself. The exact same strip of road that Stefan Beloff set the lap record, 6 minutes and 11 seconds on the 28th of May, 1983, the immortal lap, as it's often referred to, for Stefan Beloff in a Porsche 956. Can you imagine? So we'll see who's going to be our tour guide for the for this lap. Looking at the number 138 here, Matthias Burke, who will be our guide. So we're heading down, clattering down the 3-kilometer straight that is the Dottinger Ho, a perfect opportunity to get some overtaking done, especially in these Porsche Cup cars where you're right at the top of top gear and you can really get a draft on your competitors. Through Antonius Bucher, named after St. Antonius, who's got a bush named after him there, then down into the Tiergarten. Just alongside the track here you'll have the Hotel Tiergarten, which was owned by Sabine Schmidt's family. And then through towards the start of the lap at the Hatzenbach. So here we go for a flying lap of the Nürburgring Nordschleife. And just as I say that, Matthias Burke's decided to pull out of it. Oh, dearie, Matthias. Put another pound in the meter. Well, we'll see who else we have out on track. Let's have another go at this. Now going to have this number 212 of Paul Lange. Let's see what he can do. He's a very nice looking car here, this red and white Eibach machine. So, we'll try that again. We should have maybe pre-arranged this with Sam actually, it would be good. Whoa! Oh, big oversteer there as well. Of course, nearly 500 horsepower. Oh, no. We've been let down here, Andy. I wonder if the drivers know that they can carry on past the 20-minute mark.
I don't think we planned this very well, Peter, really. Well, I'm sure we get something in somewhere.
We'll have another go. Third time's a charm. Yeah, third time's a charm. I'm surprised that the drivers aren't taking it. The thing with the Nordschleife is you've got that real... It's really important to get as much mileage under the wheels as you possibly can. You cannot get enough practice at this circuit. It's so complex, it's so tough, it's so fast. You have to know every little nuance of it. So maybe Pascal Costa will take us on a little bit of a trip. But given we've had 2 goes so far, we're going to reserve judgment. Now, comes over the line. Brake lights aren't coming on. Nope, they are. But as we say that now, Pascal Costa, 6 minutes and 37.26 2:07. What a lap time that is. You put that into context, Andy, just 26 seconds back from Beloff's lap time in a Porsche 956 prototype.
Yes, obviously this track is 12.8 miles long. It's got 73 corners, 620 meters the highest point, 320 meters the lowest point. So it is an extremely long circuit with extremely complex corners. And what amazes me always about this track is the fact that, you know, any day punter can go on with any car that he wants on this track and race the same lines as the professionals. And that's what always amazes me about this track. It's brilliant.
It is absolutely fantastic. They've been racing here since the 18th of June 1927. They actually started racing motorcycles here, which is truly crazy. But the day later they thought it would be a bit more sensible to race some cars, and that's where the Caracciola Carousel gets its name for. It's named after Rudolf Caracciola, who won the race in Mercedes Compressor. So it looks like actually our qualifying is going to elapse 20 minutes and we will go into the race. So perhaps as we head into the race, we will do a commentated lap, we will do an onboard lap, because it's something you have to see from the driver's seat. And what is amazing, Andy, is that the sheer complexity of this circuit is how well it is simulated here on the iRacing platform.
Yeah, that's one of the amazing things about iRacing is obviously digitally enhanced tracks, not enhanced, copied tracks from the actual real-life course. So every bump, every graffiti on the floor has been painstakingly recreated in this game, and I think this is the closest thing you could probably actually get to, unless you're driving on it itself, I think.
I have had it on good authority from those that know the circuit well that it's a very accurate representation. As you can see, a number of the drivers taking an opportunity to do a practice start here. Of course, we do have standing starts here in the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup, and using the clutch just like you would in a real car. You can hear the revs rattling off the limiter, and then off you go. Lewis Ward just trying to get it just right.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a vital part of this, is getting a good getaway, because there's going to be a long train going down the first half of this track, and that's where all the incidents, cold tyres, these corners are quite tight, but inviting the drivers to push it a little bit too hard. So, you know, getting that car away from the line in the best possible position is vital in this race to end the race in a good quality, because you want to try to get out, get some free air so you can start getting your lines and cutting it in through this vast track. That will take about 6.5 minutes, as we've seen, to get around.
Yeah, 6.5 minutes or so, and only separated the top two, Costa and Thompson, by less than a tenth of a second. That is absolutely incredible. 52 thousandths of a second separates Pascal Costa and Josh Thompson. Now, this is at the point. Now, we are going to tick forward. So, we have two races tonight, one over 3 laps and one over 4 laps. So here we go for the opening sprint race of the evening. Pascal Costa and Josh Thompson start on the front row of the grid, with Camille Grabowski and Will Orton on row 2. Niels Erik Isaacson and Roger Christensen will start on the third row, with Matthias Nogage and Jo Vergaard Goderstad starting on row 4. Matthias Burke and Nick Madsen round out the top 10. Simone Passioni will start 11th alongside Tom Schleuter, with Sam Fitzpatrick starting 13th, followed by Lewis Ward, Mark Hutchison, Paul Lange, Dominic Forster, Tor Bervin, Matt Chambers and Levi Johnson round out the top 20. Kev Copeland will start 21st, followed by James Parker, Herbert O'Shaughnessy and Thomas Wiwoyer. Starting at 25th is Max Wolf, followed by Joseph Solf, Kevin Stringer, Craig Jones, Nick Leduc, Max Kessler, Mark Silcock and Joe McCauley. A number of drivers there at the back of the pack with not setting a qualifying time, either because they've been asked not to or are starting from pit lane, which can be due to a post-race penalty from previous meetings. So the cars are preparing, ready for the start, and we will go racing here at the most formidable racing circuit anywhere in the world. as Andy said, you can just turn up and pay your €40 and do a lap. However, don't crash, because the recovery costs and the barrier damage costs apparently are extortionate. So don't do that, from what I understand.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, looking at it, I've got, I think, a recovery truck costs about 190. I don't know how old this information is. To replace 1 meter of the Armco barrier, it's €31. And to have a safety car attendant come out, it's 82 euros for 30 minutes. So, very costly mistake. Not only have you written off your car, but you get a hefty bill off the owners to repair the work.
That you do. Well, the revs rise, they rattle off the limiter, and we are racing here at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Pascal Costa leads away from pole position. Will Orton there to Kamil Grabowski. Great start from him. It's a problem for Josh Thompson, though. Problem for Josh Thompson in championship. Oh no, I think he may well be suffering with connection issues. It's a disaster for Nick Madsen. No, it's not a problem for Josh Thompson. The vagaries of Isle of Man internet costing a little bit of a flicker there for Thompson, but carries on again. They head down through Hockeiken for the first time, and then down towards Quiddlebacker Hoe, named after the village of Quiddleback, all the way up the gearbox now, down towards Flugplatz. This is so quick down here. 5th gear, right the way through here. It's just about flat. You're just fanning off the throttle, hanging on for dear life, and then you have to run down to Schwedenkorn.
Yeah, great start there. All the positions in the top 8, pretty much where they were when they started. A couple of gained the pace, and Kemo Gassi's got big off there with Mark Hutchison. Obviously on the side of the road, it might be good if we could see a replay on what happened there, but yeah, you go off on this track and 9 times out of 10 Peter going to hit one of the barriers on the outside and cause a lot of damage to your car.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that here at the Nürburgring there is no runoff. If you make a mistake, you're onto the grass and you're straight into the fence, and it can be violent and usually completely race over at that point. And if you need a tow, you don't have €28 to pay, but you do have a very, very long wait to get back, and your race is completely done at that point. So, riding on board with the championship chaser, Josh Thompson came into the championship after the opening round and has had to play catch-up, but he has done so incredibly well, chasing down Pascal Costa, who was so impressive at Laguna Seca a couple of weeks ago. Just didn't quite get the win, but with that qualifying lap, really special lap time pulled out there. But trying to get away from your competitors here is so tricky, because the draft is so strong with this Porsche 911 Cup car, and it's such a fast circuit here at the Nordschleife that draft just becomes more and more important as the speeds increase.
Yeah, but that's something that the drivers that are actually following in that draft need to be aware of, because this is a really tight section of the track. It's quite hard to get off the racing line to try and overtake, so they've got to be aware of the closing speeds on the corners and make sure that they don't go into the car in front of them, because that would obviously end their race at the car. And we have another one, Matt Chambers off, so they're starting to rack up in this midfield now, because it seems to be they're all very much closed up, going too wide into corners, which is often quite dangerous on the Nürburgring.
Yeah, we are at a very, very tight part of the circuit as well. Just come through Ex-Mule down towards the Lauda Links, the Lauda Memorial Corner. This was unfortunately the corner which defined Niki Lauda's career, unfortunately, in 1976, which he had an incredible job to recover through. Down through Bergwerk. This is the most important corner on the circuit, Bergwerk, because you've got to try and get a good exit out of there, because it's one massive long drag all the way up the Kesselchen, and here goes Josh Thompson side by side on the Kesselchen up towards Klostertal and gets the move done. Wow, what a move from the Manxman. Heading up towards the Caracciola carousel now, hard on the brakes at this point. You're coming from top gear all the way down to probably about second gear in these cars. You can see Josh Thompson having to balance it on the brakes, big corrections on the steering, and carries so much corner speed up towards the infamous Caracciola carousel. Into, here we go, poof, bang, horribly violent coming through here, and then you just ping out like a champagne cork all the way up the hill, up towards Hoa Ach, the highest point on the circuit. And this is where it gets really, really quick and scary, Andy.
Yeah, that was a great pass there by Josh on Costa. Costa actually did get on the grass trying to fight back there into the corner, but obviously thought better of it, following the strip team. There's plenty of opportunities on this track on the long straights. Certainly when you go into the dot hole down onto the tier guard and that straight, you know, you want to be behind the car in front to get that perfect slipstream down there, because that is going to be vital to do some really big overtakes down there and consolidate your position. So I would expect a lot of movement on the cars, certainly if they're following this close behind each other, passive movements going down the dart on that hole.
Yeah, maybe that was why Pascal Costa didn't fight it too hard, but Josh Thompson had to work for it to head up towards Ice Corner, left-hander, and then up towards the Plants Garden. This is super scary over here as well. But yeah, coming up to the Dottinger hole, it'll be interesting to see if Thompson is able to break enough away from Costa to break that draft, because he can. If he can, then he's got a whole nother lap around the twistier parts to really make a full break from Costa. But already this pair have broken away to the tune of 1.4 seconds back from Costa to Will Orton, with Kamil Grabowski, the championship leader, in fourth, not far back. Got Isaacson, the first of the army of Norwegians, in fifth. Through Schwalbenschwanz we go then in the little mini carousel. This is much, much more difficult than the big carousel, actually, because you can really get spat out the wrong side of it, and you can get yourself into a whole mess of trouble there.
Yeah, the other thing to think about with these cars is they haven't got the ABS like the GT3s and GTEs. Oh, a big off there by Kevin, a bit too far into that corner. Oh wow. That was a big crash. I don't think he's going to be able to carry on with that. I think he might have to go into the pits and get his fast repair. But first look going down the dot on the hole into the tier garden. So we'll see the power of the slipstream coming down here.
Yep, here comes Pascal Costa. Pascal Costa will be pretty much in the rev limiter by now. And he actually might run out of revs, in fact, and decides to just sit on the boot lid there of Josh Thompson, right on the engine cover. Up towards Tiergarten now, and you're hard on the brakes. This is so tricky to get the car slowed down. You're all the way down to about second gear here, and then he's got this horrible little, careful not to hit the fence on the inside there. That's a lap of the Nordschleife, and from a standing start, 6:39.543 from a standing start. That's ridiculous speed.
That is phenomenal with cold tyres on a fresh lap going out. I mean, that is absolutely amazing. So I expect to see them doing at least 10 seconds, maybe even more faster in this. Oh, big off. Actually going into the back of Forrester there. So Forrester's in a bit of no man's land. He's in like a blind spot for everybody coming around that corner. As you can see there, he's really tentative of trying to get the car. So expected to lose a lot of weight. So he needs to make sure he's got his relative on to make sure he's got enough space to turn around, like he's done very nicely there.
Yeah, well done there from Levi Johnson to just take his time, wait for the spot to come up, and the main thing is if he look like he's not got too much damage, that's the main thing. If you can keep the ball rolling, if you can keep going here at the Nürburgring Nordschleife, you'll be fine. Now, interesting, our timing screen is showing that this is lap 3, but we're on lap 2. The white flag is out. Right, we may well have a little bit of a technical issue there as well. Another problem for Levi Johnson. But look what's happened here, Andy. Well, let's worry about the lap count later, because through the twisty parts, Josh Thompson is really starting to stretch now from Pascal Costa, and this is where probably Costa really needed to get past Thompson and slow him down before they got back to the twisty point. Now he's got the opportunity to break away and take the first win of the evening.
Yeah, he needs to make sure that he keeps close behind him, try to stay into that slipstream, because we saw obviously him close right up going down into the Tiergarten, which is obviously the classic overtaking part of the Nürburgring. The one thing I really do love about this track is the slight lift where the cars actually lose traction with the track, and I'm pretty sure you'll be able to tell me what corner that is, Peter, but it's always fascinates me watching that. You know, and I've seen many a times cars getting sideways coming off that and big accidents, so you need to make sure that you hit that straight.
Yeah, there's two parts. There's the Flugplatz at the very start of the lap, and then there's the Pflanzgarten, which is near the end before the Stefan Bellof S's. And yes, you're right. When this car, of course, no traction control, no ABS, and not enormous downforce either. I know it's got a rear wing like the front door of a B&Q, but it is. Yeah, it is all about the mechanical grip with this car and balancing on that. So looks like there's been an issue for Max Wolf, who we're looking forward at the moment from Herbert O'Shaughnessy's car, and boff! Well, that'll certainly cause a problem.
I give him a headache in the morning.
Oh dear, and of course that's straight to the engine, of course. The Porsche 911, very typical, very unique layout, 4-litre engine hung out over the back wheels, so that won't have been particularly helpful there for Max Wolf, who's right in the contest for the AM Class Championship, so that's really not very helpful at all. But Max Wolf locked in an intense battle with Kevin Finn. Now, do we have Kevin Finn in the lineup tonight? I don't think we do, actually.
No, I'm not seeing him. No.
Okay, right, so a drop round for Kevin Finn. Well, that's a bit of a crumb of comfort then for Max Wolf. And Nick Madsen, of course, Season 1 champion here in the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup. It was the champion, and we're not used to seeing him all the way back here. Hit problems early on.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're saying. It's vital that we get the qualifying at the start. Oh, big! Oh!
That's massive.
Oh, three. Yeah, definitely. Big hit coming over that corner. And it's continuing on. So I think Nick Madsen's going to have a very damaged car there. So we'll see if he can carry on to get back to the pits, or if he's going to have to take the long road back to the pit lane. Oh, he got on the grass there slightly, looked like Peter, and obviously slid into the person in front of him. I'm sure that was. Oh, and a big hit up the back. What was that, 279?
Oh my, that's not good at all. And the thing is, it's absolutely flat out up there, the Kesselchen. And yeah, if you put a wheel in the grass, you are going for a ride. So Josh Thompson has really dropped the hammer here. He's now onto the latter part of the circuit, coming down the hill towards Esbach and Brunchen, which is where all the fans are. You can see them there, all the virtual fans there, sipping on a virtual Vorsteiner, or whatever your favourite German alcoholic beverage is. It will need to be alcoholic if you want to be in that particular part of the circuit and enjoy yourself. It's pretty mad there, apparently. So you come through Ice Corner here. So white flag is out, showing the third lap. This is not the third lap, this is the second lap. But let's see if Josh Thompson's going to get the checker.
Yeah, he's pulled out a real big, irrespective of the IT issues, he's pulled out a real big gap now with Costa. Broke that vital slipstreaming effect down onto the Docker Hull and down into the Tiergarten. So, he's in a real good position now. And obviously he's mastered the first two sectors of this course to get away from Costa.
Okay, so coming round to Schwalbenschwanz now. Josh Thompson, he has really been imperious since he came into this championship, really showing his World Championship credentials. Of course, raced in the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup, the very, very highest level of sim racing, all the professional teams. Of course, Josh Thompson racing for Williams Esports. And nice to see the Williams name up the front.
Some great liveries there. I love Costa's livery at the back there. That's striking colours in green and off-white, I would call that. Big white.
Yes. Yeah, do you know what that reminds me of is an extra chewing gum packet. and that slightly shiny bluey green is Kamil Grabowski going for a move now on Will Orton. Grabowski, side by side through Antonius Bucca up towards Tiergarten. This can be very, very, very dangerous, but we go back to our leader, Josh Thompson. I think it may well just be a bug on our screen. Josh Thompson goes over the line, and we carry on. Yes, I think it was actually to do with Levi Johnson getting a tow back to the pits. Actually, that's why it shows Levi Johnson in the lead. He is definitely not in the lead at the moment. He is way down the order. So ignore Levi Johnson, and we are on to the final lap. Well, why don't we go on board then with our race leader? As we say, just as I say that, it goes crazy at the Tiergarten. But why don't we go on board? Let's go on. Way, dear me. Well, we'll go on board with Max Kessler then. Number 176. Over the line we go then. Max Kessler from Impulse Racing is going to be our ring taxi driver. Through the Hatson back down the gears to second there, and hard on the power all the way down the Hatzenbach. You gather pace so quickly there, up to 4th, maybe 5th gear, depending on the car, and then down to the later part of the Hatzenbach now. It's really tricky, left then right. Watch out for the curbs. If you hit the curb in the wrong way, it can be really nasty indeed. Now down towards Hocheichen, where it's just left right all the time. But Hocheichen is all about getting the run down the Quiddelbacher Hole, named after the village of Quiddelbach, which is just the side of the circuit here. So hard on the power, full gas, hard as you can go, all the way up towards Flugplatz. You'll be up to 5th gear here at Flugplatz. You can see, whoop, the car gets a little bit off the ground there, and you swoop through those really quick right-handers, and now it's the absolutely flat-out run down towards Schwedenkors. This is really quick here. Top gear, right at the top of top gear, and this is a blind, very fast left-hander where you're just blending out the power in 6th gear and then leaning hard on the brakes, and with a car without ABS, it's really easy to lock up there. Through Arenberg we go then, and down towards the Foxhole, or Fuchsrohe to give it its correct name. And at the bottom of this part of the circuit here, you can actually reach similar speed that you would at the end of the Dottinger Hole, because it's so steep downhill. Now we're heading up to Adenauer Force in the village of Adenau. This is actually where Kevin Estra had a bit of a spin in qualifying for the Nürburgring 24 Hour, something you don't see every day, but trying to do it on slicks in the wet, not easy. Back on the power again, really important to get a good exit out of Adenauer Force down towards Metzgesfeld. Now, this was a rally stage, which the Nürburgring Nordschleife is quite like. This would have don't cut in the notes, because if you hit that curb, you're in trouble. Speaking of trouble, Will Orton has hit some here as well. So he was in the battle with Kamil Grabowski, so something's gone on there, Andy.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be good to see what happened there. Obviously fighting with Grabowski quite hard. Probably over pushing it yet. So going down, let's see what happens here. Just loses the back end going into the corner there. It's very much a downhill corner, left-hander, so it is quite a really corner that can easily spin out if you're trying to overbrake it or anything. But back to you in your lap.
So yeah, well, we've just seen Max Kessler's just gone through that section, the Versiphon, which is very easy to do that, down through Breitscheid, which is just crosses over the town here, and then through Exmüller, right-hander here, really tricky now. Back on the power hard, then up towards the Lauda Links, the Lauda left-hander. Again, absolutely flat out through here. Now, Bergberg, this is the corner you've got to get right, because it's the one you can see here, Max taking a really nice wide sweeping line and hard on the power, using that Porsche traction, leaning that 4-litre engine all over the back tyres there, and getting that boogie up the hill. Here we go, up the Kesselchen. This is where Madsen et al. Had a huge crash a lap or so ago, and you are completely flat all the way up towards Klostertal, which is a really breathe in and hope for the best corner. We're just coming up to it now. You're building yourself up for it the whole straight. You're going, okay, come on, be brave, be precise, be brave, be both. And you can just see here, oh, beautifully smooth there from Max Kessler, not a bit out of shape. And then now we're heading up towards the Caracciola Carousel. Hard on the brakes here, down to about 2nd gear. Trying to not cut in too deep, cut nice late apex, hard on the power, up towards the famous Caracciola Carousel now. Bumping along. And Max Kessler doing a wonderful job of our ring taxi driver here. Nice and smooth, nice and steady. Despite damage on the car as well. Very impressive indeed, Andy. So, Josh Thompson now up to the end, heading towards the end of the lap now, heading up towards the Flansgarten, according to our SDK Gaming traffic map there. You can see the little green number 1, that is Josh Thompson, first in class, first overall. Look at the cars flying through Ice Corner, down towards Flansgarten now. And this is a really tight battle here between Christiansen and Ward.
That's that corner I was on about there, where they get a slight bit of airborne action there, but no, it was great shots there for on camera with Kessler. You can see how much the front suspension of these cars work around this track. Slightly modified front right we saw on Kessler there. I think that might be an iRacing mod that you can actually get with its oversized tyres. But no, you can certainly see the undulating ground on this, and these drivers are taking it within their stride and obviously posting the times that they're doing, and they're doing a phenomenal job, Peter.
That they are. They really are. The attrition rate has been relatively low for a Nürburgring race, I have to say. Very, very good indeed. But Josh Thompson has really been in imperious form, leading on to the Dottinger Hole to the tune of about 2 seconds. That's enough to to prevent any draft from Pascal Kostya through Antonius Bucher for the final time underneath the Bilstein Bridge. Josh Thompson is going to clock up another win here in the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup, and that will bring him ever closer to the championship lead from Kamil Grabowski. Round the Tiergarten for the final time, and Josh Thompson for Williams Esports wins here in the opening sprint race here in the Porsche Cup Apex Racing Academy competition. Matthias Burke, oh dearie me, nearly gets a bit of archie-party there from Will Orton.
Yeah, that is all. Last round, what was that?
Oh!
That's some grass cut on that.
Okay. Oh, they're not.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. Sorry, I thought that was Kamil Grabowski who has finished. This is his teammate, no guys, and Sam Fitzpatrick manages to keep going. Oh, we might need another look at that. Oh my.
I think that was, didn't realise there was a dirt section to the Nürburgring, but obviously Matthias found it there.
Okay, so we have Sam Fitzpatrick on the left-hand side, Matthias Nogash on the right. Up towards Tiergarten side by side, they touch ever so slightly. Nogash has to go straight on. Fitzpatrick sees him coming, hits the brakes. Nogash goes for the grass again and crashes in exactly the same spot that Maro Engel did in his Mercedes a few weeks ago in the Nürburgring 24-hour. But Nogash able to, he loses a couple of spots, Andy, but doesn't end his race entirely.
No, I mean, I thought he'd done very well considering he was on the grass. You know, a lot of cars can spin out. I thought he controlled the car very well. And I think he had no option but to just go across the grass and just try and keep it in a straight line to try and cut his speed off. But yeah, we're seeing Joseph Sol here and Silcock racing for 27th and 28th. So even down the lower orders, they're still in tandem formation coming around this ring circuit.
Yep, that's just coming through Ice Corner now. Up towards Flansgarten. Joseph Sol, of course, the Apex Racing Academy Mazda Cup AM champion of Season 1. Decided to switch over to the Porsche. He swapped Hiroshima for Weissach. Of course, today a new Porsche 911 GT3 Touring announced to the public. Don't know why, because it's already been decided who's getting them.
Yeah, great shots here. I love the way the cars are sliding across the track. Shows how much the guys are pushing these cars. As we said before, no ABS, still traction control. Basically pure driving around these around this track with the cars sliding all over the place and pushing them to the absolute limit of the capability of this car around this. And I think it's probably a good track to push it to the limit with the amount of undulating ground up and down on this track and the bumps on the track as well.
So now we've got a drag race down the Dottinger Hole under the Audi Sport Bridge, and look at the run. Now, has he gone too early though? Mark Silcock's got a great run out of Galgenkop, one of the most important corners on the circuit. He's popped out of the draft. Now, does he have enough to get past Joseph Sol? It is absolutely side by side here, a proper drag race on the Dottinger Hole, up to Antonius Bucher as well. Is Silcock going to shut the door early, or is he going to run out of puff? I think he might run out of puff. They're still side by side up towards Tiergarten. Who's going to take a check again? Almost a carbon copy. Oh my goodness me, that was close. And Joseph Sol says, if you want to go around there, you're dreaming, pal. Held his ground. And Silcock did a great job to keep that on the circuit. Yeah,
that was another mirrored carbon copy of Sam Fitzpatrick previous shots that we saw there. But yeah, it's supposedly it's really easy to do in the Tiergarten because there's only one real fast line going through that corner. But it just shows how fast the front running guys are that we've still got guys on the track. And they probably finished about a good 2 minutes ago, I think.
Yeah, but that's the sort of circuit it is. It's there's so many corners. The lap is so long that just a tenth here, a tenth there, it really does add up. I think our last driver out on circuit, Craig Jones, coming around Schwalbenschwanz for the final time.
Almost leisurely drive back to finish this race off, I think.
Indeed, yes, exactly. I think, to be honest, on the Nordschleife, any length of race, particularly the endurance races, to get your car to the finish is an achievement. It's that sort of circuit.
Yeah, I was watching the 24 hours that you were broadcasting on, actually, and see some of the accidents on that. Obviously, a bit more weather orientated than we have on this beautiful sunny day on iRacing. It was a bit more unpredictable on that day with the fog and the rain. But the cars and the accidents were quite spectacular.
Yes, they were. Particularly, we had one at the end of the Tiergarten, had one of the Porsche Caymans, the GT4 cars, going off and having a very, very big shunt, but a testament to how strong the cars are now. Basically, it's the bodywork breaks down around the cage, and the cage is just so strong. A friend of mine, Rory Butcher, races in British touring cars, had a big shunt at Silverstone last year in his Ford Focus, and it's not a Ford Focus like we would know it. The cage inside, absolutely bomb-proof, and managed to keep Rory safe. So I think that is all our drivers over the line now. So let's quickly run through the results before we go racing again for our feature. So Josh Thompson, then your winner by 1.8 seconds from Camille Grabowski in third. Pascal Costa running in second. Niels-Erik Isaacson was fourth, with Joe Vergaard Godderstad, Matthias Burke, Will Orton, Roger Christensen, Lewis Ward, and Tor Berven in 10th. Sam Fitzpatrick winning that duel with Matthias Nogash for that spot in 11th place, with Nogash dropping back to 13th after that little bit of an off-track excursion, giving best to Dominic Forster. Simeone Passoni was 14th, followed by our AM-class winner, Paul Langer, home win for Paul. Max Kessler was 16th, followed by Herbert O'Shaughnessy, and Mark Hutchison was 18th. Max Wolf finished 19th, followed by Tom Sleuter, Matt Chambers, Kev Copeland, Levi Johnson, Thomas Wewoyer, Joe McCauley, Kevin Stringer, Joseph Saul, and Mark Silcock rounding out the top 28 drivers. So more or less everyone finishing on the lead lap. James Parker, Craig Jones, Nick Madsen, and Nick Leduc. Only Madsen and Leduc finishing off the lead lap. So we're going to take a very short break here on Apex Racing TV. We will be back in just a moment for the 4-lap feature race.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Welcome back to the Nürburgring, where we are preparing for the second race of the evening here in the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup. With Josh Thompson winning the opening 3-lap sprint race, we're now preparing for the 4-lap feature. How will that one play out? It's going to be an interesting one. Looking at the moment, it's Tom Schleuter on track at the moment, just having a couple of warm-up laps. A few drivers maybe just wanting to reset the brain a little bit after that first sprint race.
Yeah, for sure. I think obviously when you're in that midfield pack, you're sort of in the hands of the gods. In that, if somebody has an accident in front of you, it's very difficult to get out of the way, considering some of the speeds that you're going around some of these corners and certain parts of this track. So it's very much dependent on where you are on the track as to where. But obviously, Josh Thompson that first time took him a lap to get away from Costa. But once he did get away, he stayed away and obviously broke that slipstream down into the Dart of the hole and onto Tiergarten. So he did a really good race in race one, and we'll see if he can do the same this way. So Costa's got to make sure that he stays on his tail in them first 2 or 3 sectors, so he's in with a chance down that straight.
Well, warm-up takes over now, and we will be ready to go racing here at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Just the Nordschleife tonight, not using the GP circuit, but that's no problem at all. Mark Hutchison will start on pole position alongside Herbert O'Shaughnessy, with Max Kessler and Paul Lange starting on row 2. Simone Passoni and Mateusz Nogage will start on the 3rd row, followed by Dominic Forster, Sam Fitzpatrick, Tor Bervin and Lewis Ward. Roger Christensen and Will Orton will start from the 6th row, with Matthias Burke, Joe Verger Goderstad, Niels Erik Isaacson, Camille Grabowski, Pascal Costa and Josh Thompson are race 1 winner, starting from 18, so it's going to be fascinating to watch the fast guys come through. Max Wolf will start 19th, followed by Tom Schleuter, Matt Chambers, Kev Copeland, Levi Johnson and Thomas Woodwire. And finally, Joe McCauley, Kevin Stringer, Joseph Saul, Mark Silcock, James Parker, Craig Jones, Nick Madsen and Nick Leduc round out our 32 cars running. So, the revs rise. The 4-litre flat 6 engines rattle off the rev limiter, and they will be released for 4 laps of racing here at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Off we go. A little bit of a slug start from Mark Hutchison, but he just about nips in front, just in the nick of time, with Max Kessler, our ring taxi driver, right in behind him in second. So O'Shaughnessy loses out from the front row of the grid, but Hutchison, he's off like a stabbed rat.
Oh, big off there.
Passoni, hold the brake on.
Just going to have to stay there like a cell.
Oh, great job from Passoni. Just got himself tucked into the barrier, out the way, and that could have been so much worse.
Yeah, definitely. It was good that he stayed there. Unfortunately, he lost a lot of ground there, and that's how easy it is to lose places on this circuit. You know, you go off, you save your car, but you're going to have to wait to the end of the grid to keep going because of the tightly packed racing that we've got on the first lap.
See, Mark Hutchison might have got to quit. Oh, we've got another car hard in the wall. That's Herbert O'Shaughnessy. Oh no, from the front row of the grid, he's gone off at the Flugplatz. Lucky not to get collected, and Nick Madsen just brushes by it no more. Oh my goodness me, and just as I say that, round Schweden course, Mark Hutchison having to defend from Max Kessler, who's trying to do the Raffaele Marciello special there, and oh no, oh brake. Oh, Dominic Forster. Oh god, we've got cars everywhere. Oh, chaos. That's Thompson involved, and there's a huge pile up at Arenberg. Oh my goodness me, cars everywhere. And it just takes one car to trigger an honest mistake, Andy, and it triggers such a chain reaction. As Hutchison's away, Madsen's off on the exit, and Thompson's off as well. Oh my giddy aunt.
That's the thing. Oh,
okay, right.
So Marsden obviously missed that first incident. He got caught up in that second incident. That's what I was saying about this track, is that you're in the lap of the gods really for this, certainly in the first lap, because you're all going to be nose to tail on this track. And if somebody has a slight incident in front of you, and as we saw there, he spun out across the grass, and unfortunately he was in no man's land, and he went straight across the corner and picked another car. Well, Madsen doing a bit of donuts on the grass. I think his car has seen better days. So I think it's around for him to forget today.
It really is, yeah. No points at all for our Season 1 champion. A little bit of a fall from grace. But back at the front, Mark Hutchison's made the perfect start. Max Kessler on his bootlet here, with Matthias Nogoj making up for lost time from that little incident at the end of race 1. He's up to 3rd. Sam Fitzpatrick in 5th as well. So let's see what the Evo SR Ace can do. The Radical BSR Winter Series champion, no less.
Yeah, and a fellow admin as myself, so unbiased. Hopeful for Sam to do well in this race. But what this has opened, it's opened up a lot for a lot of the guys that are normally mid-pack or fighting lower than the guys that are normally at the front, to give them the opportunity to get some valuable points here on the board. Pretty unlucky for Shaughnessy. He was the highest paced damn, and obviously started in 3rd place. Unfortunately, had an accident and lost that. He would have got some really good points if he had managed to keep it clean, but you never know what's going to happen on this ring circuit.
No, you do not. Oh, you do not want to hit that curb very often. Hitting the curb at Gloucester Tile is normally a death sentence, and well, Mark Hutchison does a great job to hang on, but he has lost 2 spots since Bergwerk. So Max Kessler leads now from Matthias Nogaj. Hutchison to 3rd, Ward 4th, Christiansen 5th. Sam Fitzpatrick drops back 1 place to 6th position as they pile up towards the Caracciola, up the hill towards the Caracciola carousel now. I'll tell you what, with Thompson out the picture, Pascal Costa still in the race though. Finished 2nd in the first race, Andy, and started on pole position. He's a man to watch.
Yeah, certainly be interesting to see if his car's in one piece and he hasn't got any damage, because that would be certainly one person to look at. So we'll have a look at a replay here. Obviously, this was the incident. So you saw the car there on the left-hand side go off, and then obviously he cut back onto the track, and that's what caused the pileup. Nowhere to go for the driver behind him, and that caused a chain effect behind him, really.
Yeah, absolutely nowhere to go. He was basically blocked on the apex, and that just, that brought in a whole new raft of victims, shall we say, to that particular incident. So Lewis Ward is now right back in the hunt here as well in this battle with Mark Hutchison. Max Kessler, he's gone. He is absolutely gone. He's got by into the Caracciola carousel, and he is checking out, up to 3 seconds away now from Mark Hutchison. And Lewis Ward desperately trying to get past Hutchison and try and make some sort of chase to Kessler, but for Kessler, he's in control now.
Yeah, we saw from the first race how smooth he was when we were on your excellent on-board lap commentary. Oh, a big spin there by John McCulley. I think he got collected by Johnson there, and it's caused another knock-on effect. So the problem is that is a blind hill crest, so hopefully they'll get through that and not pick up any more cars. But Kessler at the front, he was the biggest gainer from the first round. He got up about 15 places from the starting grid. Because he had that front row grid, he's actually managed to get away 3.9 seconds a lap. So he's sprinting off into the distance, and obviously what we're left with is Hutchison and Ward fighting it out, which is only going to help Kessler get away further.
Yep, exactly. That is really, if Hutchison, Ward and Christiansen want to make a bid for the win, they've actually got to work together and not knock lumps out of each other, which, well, we'll see. Max Kessler been amazing, and whoa, Roger Christensen, he's been watching too many Kevin Estron boards. Pass on the grass, Roger Christensen. That is honestly a carbon copy of the Kevin Estra pass on the grass, who's actually on Midweek Motorsport tonight, is the Frenchman, winner of the 24 Hours of Nürburgring a couple of weeks ago. Oh, nearly throws it all away, and massive crash, massive hit for Mark Hutchison, who goes off at the tear guard. He's got no steering, and his teammate gets through there, Fitzpatrick. Oh, that's a huge hit. Oh, and can he
okay.
get it back to the pit lane? He's so close. He's agonizingly close. There's the pit lane. He is going to get it in. That's
was
good.
some grabbing action there going on that steering, but he's absolutely gutted with that. You know, up there fighting well. I think, it's on the grass. Is he going to get hit into around this corner? I think he is, yeah.
I don't know. I think he actually got up on the curb, but then that might have checked him up. It's hard to say. It'd be interesting to see who was behind him. Oh my word, but come on, me, that was a massive hit. Right, here we go in Marco Barbonera's one of many of his helicopters. Let's have a look. Okay, I'll take that back. Yes, that's a little bit of a side rub there from Christensen, and that then puts him up in the curb, which is like a skateboard ramp, and bang, that barrier does not move.
He did very well not to get picked up by the cars behind
Yes,
him.
he did.
So he kept over to the left-hand side really well. Got that gap, and as you saw him trying to get into the pit lane, he was like a sideward crab, I think.
Yes, a very unhappy crab that's just had its claws clipped off, or one of them clipped off. Now, this is Merry Christmas for Max Kessler. This bickering between Roger Christensen, Lewis Ward, Goderstad, Burke, they're all in there. Paul Langer, Amclass winner in race 1, he's right up there in the heat there too. So, brilliant stuff here. This is why I do like reverse grid racing. I don't think the top runners like them very much for obvious reasons, but oh goodness me, it's certainly dramatic. That is for sure, as they come through an absolute express train up down through the Fox Roll and up towards Adenauer Forest.
Yeah, we got 4 cars here now, nose to tail, going around this tightly packed circuit. But I'm still rolling in that pass that Christensen done there down towards the Tiergarten, and that was an amazing pass, and obviously one to be remembered for him. I think he's going to treasure that one.
I urge anyone, it's on YouTube, so it's nice and easy to find after watching this race. After this race, watch the excellent Porsche endurance documentary, and they follow the Porsche team to Le Mans and then a week later to the Nürburgring. This was 2 years ago now, and it perfectly documents one of Kevin Estra's pass on the grass, and I kid you not, it's on the same 10 metres that Christensen did. It's almost as if he's a bit of a show pony, I think, Andy. He's just wanting to be on the telly, and why not?
Either that, or he watched that video and thought, I can do this, and actually did it.
It is possible. Goodness, he is human. My goodness. Here we go, down towards Breitscheid, and that's a brilliant move there from Lewis Ward. You do not see many moves made there at Breitscheid, but that's very, very impressive. Up through Exmiller. Now, make a mark. We're just halfway through the second lap. 5.8 seconds the gap. Lewis Ward is now clear. Can he catch Kessler? That is the question. Whoa, that's not on. Oh, that's a. Oh. What did Homer Simpson dress up as when it snowed in The Simpsons? Mr. Plow.
Mr. Plow, that's the one.
It's me, it's Mr. Plow. Oh, that's a shame. I'm being mean, but that down into Bergwerk, it's such a tricky braking zone. It's very fast, it's downhill. You've not got ABS. Let's see what happened here as well. Matthias Burke behind. Boom. Oh dear.
Paul Christensen, after his great heroic efforts at the start there, has sort of been taken out by that. It's the nature of this course, though. One moment you're on a massive high, the next moment you're rubbing down the arm cold barrier. What happened there?
Yep, and it can all happen very quickly. Now, Pascal Costa has some damage on the front right of that car, but not too much. He is up to 6th place, though, and this is a perfect opportunity. Now, whereas with Grabowski is all the way back in 10th, Grabowski is back in 10th, Thompson is out the race, so it's a great opportunity for Costa to make it a very tight three-way battle for the championship. As Slaughter is, his suspension was already broken at that point, so he's trying to manage a broken car, and oh dear me.
He's about two corners back. You could see him snaking around going into the corner, and I think it was only a matter of time before he met one of the barriers to say hello.
Yeah. So we are now, what are we, 11 minutes into this motor race, and our leader Max Kessler in absolutely imperious form, coming down towards Ice Corner and then up towards the Pflanzgarten here. Now, that gap was Kessler pulling away, but as soon as Ward has been able to break free, he has nipped a little bit back, but it's up to 6.1 seconds, so Kessler controlling the race very well and clearly likes this place, and we saw that, how smooth he was on the onboard lap, and well, coming through to the Bell off S's, this is very much his race to lose now, Andy.
Yeah, definitely. But one thing to look at is Costa up to 5th place now, and he's just getting onto the back of the 2nd, 3rd and 4th battle. So I certainly wouldn't count out Costa getting 2nd place. 1st place will be a tall order considering how well Kessler's driving. But yeah, I wouldn't put past him to get up to 2nd place here.
No, indeed not. I think that's going to be the trick, and it's also going to be interesting to see if Kessler can run completely mistake-free, because that is so hard to do here at the Nürburgring. So what's happened to Sam Fitzpatrick? We're coming round to Swallow's Neck.
He just stops.
I think he's maybe bizarrely been given a slowdown penalty, but I actually don't know where he might have picked one up. Maybe just took a little bit too much curb, perhaps. I don't know.
Or he's just being nicer than the other two past. No.
Knowing Sam, that's definitely not the reason. He's savage when he wants to be. Absolutely savage young man. So, no.
Look at the matching damage.
Yes, as you can see, Matthias Nogash has dropped back with a lot of damage on the nose of that car. His teammate Kamil Grabowski not making really any forward progress from 10, so he's obviously struggling with a lot of damage on that machine. So, quick lap there for Kessler, 6:44.7, but you think that's quick? Pascal Costa, 6:41.9, my word.
Yeah, the guy's on the charge at the moment. Will be all over the back of 4th place very shortly, and he's just got to pick his moments to get past the guys in front of him. You know, don't try any too heroics into corners that could ruin what has been a really good recovery race for him from the start. Oh, a big slide coming out of the last corner there by Levi Johnson, obviously putting the car pedal to the meadow and getting the back end out all squirrely, but Roger Christensen, after his unfortunate incident a couple of laps ago, is doing still quite well in 7th place, so still a decent amount of points for him, and he just needs to keep it going now, and he seems to have got his composure back after that incident.
Yeah, and you just never know what can happen in front of you, especially at this circuit. They could have a high rate of attrition in front. It looks like maybe Nogash has got a little bit of a straight line speed advantage despite his own damage, but can't quite find the space on the road. You can get a run through Flugplatz, but trying to get the space isn't easy. Now, who's got the biggest guts here? Going through, over the crest. It's 6th gear. You just lift off the throttle ever so slightly. In fact, you're never really fully off the throttle. The GT3 car is near enough flat, which is just ridiculous. Yeah. Do you know, though, Andy, that you can buy a road car from Manthey Racing, a Porsche 911 GT3 RS MR, it's called, which stands for Manthey Racing, named after Olaf Manthey, who is the most wins here in the VLN at the Nürburgring. 30 wins, more than anyone else. But they make an upgrade. A GT3 RS is a fast road car, but Manthey Racing make it even more impressive. In the hands of a pro driver, a road car will do 240 kilometers an hour through that corner.
That is insane.
That's ridiculous.
You say you can buy. I think us mere mortals would spend a lot of time saving our pennies to try and afford probably one of them cars.
Indeed, yes, indeed. It's the slightly worrying thing is that that is the only what should we say? That's the only obstacle to getting the keys to one, which is quite alarming. Fine if you're Kevin Estra and you can do that, or whatever, but yeah, a serious bit of kit. In fact, Earl Bamber was saying that, having driven it around the Nürburgring, he said it's as close as you'll get to a real-world GT3 racing car. It's that impressive. Now, what has happened to Lewis Ward? He was in this leading battle. He's dropped back, and
Is it
I don't know. No, Lewis Ward has dropped back, so Godderstad is now on the move.
change in a moment on this track, isn't it? That's the beauty of this track. One slight mistake and you can lose all the lead that you had spent a lap and a half trying to gain out. But you can see here, third, fourth, and fifth. Even from seconds, you know, they're all in close proximity of each other. Again, and there's Costa on the move coming around the outside, trying to get around Burke in third place. So he's all over the back of him. He just needs to pick his the correct moment to pass him, Peter.
I think he's shouting, "Oi, Burke, get out my way."
You're big boy.
I don't think so. I hope not. That would be very nice. And the wall for Christensen. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Grabowski moves by, as does Fitzpatrick.
Whoa. Oh, he's saving in his cockpit at home. Oh, no.
And Paul Langer. No. Oh, Paul Langer was leading in the AM class and just touches the grass there. A little bit late on the brakes. Stop. Oh, wait, misses his braking point. Couldn't hit the brakes on the grass, and Paul Langer thumps into the wall. Now, can he go on?
No, I was just going to say, these Porsches, they don't like walls. They're quite flimsy, to be fair, and it doesn't take a lot to damage a part of this car. And probably that's why this track and this car make such a perfect combination. You know, you're right on the ragged edge of coming off, but it can either be brilliant or a catastrophe. Oh, big win.
Oh! Don't do that too quickly. Joe Vegard, Goderstad, one of the other Fox Gaming machines, so they both hit problems. So the attrition rate has been significant. A lot more in this second race than in the first race. So, what happened here? Matthias Burke behind Goderstad at this point. Costa's in there in the background, and whoa! Is that Burke getting into the back of Goderstad again? Oh dear. Scandinavian scandal here at the Nürburgring.
Seems to be the people you say are pulling away. They always seem to have a bit of incidents, Pierre. Commentator's curse there, I think.
Oh, massive. Yeah, it's infectious. But here we go through S back, bang. Another rear end punt. That is, that Matthias Burke's not going to be popular, and that's twice he's run into the back of somebody. But still carries on in fourth place nonetheless. But what that does mean, Max Kessler still leads by virtually the same margin as he did a lap ago. However, and it's a big however, the person on the move now is Pascal Costa, his teammate who's got a championship to fight for. And he's now in second position. 6 seconds in a lap, that is going to be quite an ask, Andy.
Yeah, it would be, but there may be some team orders coming into play here. We never know, you know. It depends how close Costa gets to him. And I'm pretty sure they'll probably be in the same room talking to each other. And there may be a switch here in this last lap.
Well, that would be interesting indeed, as we see that exactly happening right now with Kamil Grabowski going past his teammate Matthias Nogage. So, Kessler versus Costa, will they be allowed to race? Will Costa be able to catch Kessler? Will Kessler back off of it? These are all questions that will be answered in less than 7 minutes time. Matthias Burke, despite all of this RG and Bargy, he's still in fourth place, and he's got Goderstad right on his case, and I would think that Goderstad is not going to show him any mercy whatsoever.
No, I think he hopefully will keep it clean, but he might close the door on him if the opportunity arises, that's for sure. Oh, a big spin there by Kevin Stringer.
Oh dear. Not good. That's just coming up towards Schwalbenschwanz. Through the Beloff S's, just carried a little bit too much speed and poof over the curve, whack. Mirror goes flying, front left wheel broken. Oh dearie me, not a good one there for Kevin Stringer.
There's no bills on iRacing, is there, for the car damage?
Oh God, no, thankfully not. Thankfully not. You know, there have been people talking about there being costs for damage to try and clean up racing, but thankfully I think that's been shot down, because that really would then. You think it's bad? Oh no, it's Matt Chambers into the wall. Oh.
We'll certainly get a bigger attention in this race.
A lot more than the first race.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot more action. I think there's more at stake now. The guys have, they took the first round a bit tentative just to get used to the track, racing at speed again. And then this second race, I think they've just gone for it. They've put the pedal to the metal and put it down spaces that maybe it shouldn't be going down, to be fair.
Yeah, I think it's all. This is what the Nürburgring does to you. It gets you into a rhythm, and you think, oh, I'm king of the world, and then you just take the tiniest liberty, and it bites you, so hard. I had the great privilege of chatting to Timo Bernhard, a 5-time winner of the Nürburgring 24-hour and the unofficial lap record holder here in the 919 Hybrid Evo Porsche with a lap time of 5 minutes and 19 seconds. It's actually really fun. Of course, we do have the 919 here in iRacing. It's quite fun to go chasing after that lap. I've not got within 15 seconds of it. But anyway, Timo said the first time that he drove the track himself was just when he was a Porsche Junior. He was about 20 at the time. And the fastest road car that Porsche had at the time was the 996 GT2. And he was sent by his boss to go and do some laps. He was given basically an unlimited amount of petrol and tyres, and was meant to go off and do some laps in the Nürburgring and learn the place. And he got about halfway round his first lap and pulled off at the side because he was so petrified, and phoned his boss, and his boss immediately said, "Where have you crashed?" He says, no, I haven't crashed. He says, no, come on, you can be honest, you've crashed, haven't you? No, I haven't. He says, I'm just so scared. And his boss, rather than saying, you're a professional racing driver, get on with it, he said, this is good, Timo. Now you have the respect for the Nürburgring. Never lose this respect. And he said, I never have. And it's that sort of circuit.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, what an amazing story that is. I mean, it takes a certain skill, and you've got to have no fear to drive this track, certainly at the speeds that these guys do, and obviously in the real life racing that we saw in the Nürburgring 24 hours. Certainly when it's dark, it's foggy, it's raining, and you see the speeds that these guys are going. They're real professionals at what they do, and all credit to them. It's amazing to watch, even more so when it's on board cam, and you can literally see how little visibility they've got, and you think they're doing these corners at 180, 190 mile an hour, and it's just amazing.
It is. It's a spectacle which you have to see once. I would say. Kessler through the carousel for the final time. The gap has come down a bit. Come down about 1.9 seconds from when they came over the line. But as we'll come back to it in a moment, because look at this, side by side between Christiansen and Mark Hutchison. Oh, as Christensen shuts the door going around Klostertal. Now side by side. Now this is one line through here. This is very, very narrow. Oh, Hutchison. Oh, that's brave. Oh, my word, that is brave from Mark Hutchison. And gets it pulled down as well.
Yeah, definitely. A great pass there. Saw his opportunity, kept on it, and got the rewards at the end of it for being brave. So well done to Hutchinson there.
Yeah, what does it say? Fortune favours the brave. Yes, it does. So Pascal Costa is closing in, now down to 3.9 seconds. That's massive. Oh my goodness me, that's massive from Mark Hutchison. Just loses it going up the hill to Hoa Act. And what are we talking about, Andy? This track, it lulls you in to a false sense of security. Now, this could be just the tiniest mistake. Oh my god, it's just the tiniest mistake. Just touches half a Michelin tyre on the grass, and bang, round he goes. Oh, Mark Hutchison, he was flying, but that's the Nürburgring. It can just bite you when you least expect it. Oh, speaking of biting, dearie me, big hip check there from Grabowski to Joe Vickers-Goderstad.
Yeah, there's all going on in this last lap here. It's this track, like I said, acceleration for Hutchinson for that pass, and then commiserations in the next couple of corners. It just can change in a heartbeat on this track, and it's brilliant to watch. But real close racing here in the top half of the field. But look at that time, Peter, of Costa to Kessler, 2.6 seconds. Is it going to happen?
I think it's going to be a big ask now. That's not close enough to get the draft. They're onto the Dottinger Ho now. You can see from our SDK Gaming track map on the right hand side, the green number 1 and the green number 2. There they are. Impulse Racing number 1 and 2, tearing down the 3 kilometre long Dottinger Ho for the final time.
All
And
in it.
is Kessler's pulling off the gas? Yes, he is. Well spotted, Andy. Well spotted. He is pulling off the gas. Multi-21 mirror signal maneuver. As I say that, he says I can only slow down so much. Right, okay. That's interesting. I think they're going for a coordinated over the line.
Yeah, Le Mans.
Wow, they've certainly got enough. That's very nice. That's very, very nice indeed. Kessler waits for his teammate. They go over the line beside one another. Brilliant, brilliant stuff from both the Impulse Racing guys. Max Kessler, your winner. And Andy, I'm delighted that the true result came out there. Max Kessler thoroughly deserved that win.
Yeah, definitely. It was good of Costa as well not to take the win. Even though he's fighting for the championship, Kessler had a really good first round, getting up 15 places, and drove this second round impeccably. You know, he was out front from the start, got away, and it was nice for the two teammates to come across the line at the same time.
Absolutely. That would be a nice shot for resident cinematographers Colin Weatherholt and Kevin Zhao. I think it's Kevin that does the championship. I tell you what, that man, Kevin, is a wizard, Andy, with his photography skills, or cinematography as it's often known. And it's cool because you can get you don't have to climb up a tree to get a good angle. You can be up that tree if you want. You can take a shot from any angle you like here in the virtual world, and some of the shots are just spectacular. Yeah. So you're getting our number of personal bests for a few of the drivers coming over the line there. Both Pisoni and Bervin setting their best lap. Hats off as well to Sam Fitzpatrick as well, Andy, the one of our fellow commentators, finishing 7th at the ring. A very, very good finish indeed.
Yeah, and just behind got a start 0.8 of a second he finished, so a great race. I think he started in 7th actually. No, he started in 8th, so he actually gained a place during that race. So well done, Sam. Good points for your team.
Indeed, yeah, good point. And also for his championship challenge, I think Sam is into the top 10 in what is a very, very hotly contested championship. Just waiting on our last few drivers to come through now. Looking at Dominic Forster chasing down Joseph Saul. Forster holding the last spot in the top 20 at the moment. Now, will he be able to get a bit of a draft on Joseph Saul? It is amazing, the invisible, should we call it invisible horsepower of the draft. How you see, how is that car just gathering momentum? It's amazing. And of course, into wind, what a difference it makes. I was commentating on some Caterham racing at Knock Hill at the weekend, and the front straight had the wind behind you, a very strong one, so it wasn't so bad. But coming on the back straight, it was into wind, so the slipstream was just unbelievable. Now, let's see if Forster can get by here.
I think he'll be able to do it. He's obviously lining him up. He's gone past here. I think he planned that just rightly. He didn't come out too soon to obviously lose the draft. He used the draft to the best of his ability, got the maximum amount of speed till he was right on the tail of Sal and just popped up past him. So I think he's got this move. I don't think Sal can come back unless he does a very ambitious move which into the Tiergarten, which is probably not advisable with some of the moves we have seen today onto the Tiergarten. So a great pass there. That was done, and obviously Sal, he'll have to stick in 20th place, so Forrester coming across in 19th. Very sick Oceanity car going around there. I think he's just taking in the scenery, Peter.
I think, look at his back left wheel is absolutely destroyed, and now come on, we've all got to will on Herbert O'Shaughnessy. I love this tenacity to get over the line. Come on, Herbert, let's see it. But I think he might have it chosen for him. Here comes the toe. Okay.
Oh, unfortunate. Good effort there,
yeah, he tried. I love the tenacity to try, but there was only so much that it could do. Let's have a look at the results then for this race here at the Nürburgring Nordschleife, the feature race here for the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship. Andy, your thoughts on that one?
It was a lot more action-packed than the first one. Like I said, I think they got into it. But before that, I'll let you take the results good. I'll give my thoughts.
Indeed, yes, can make some notes. So Max Kessler, then your winner, a thoroughly deserving winner, making it a German 1-2 here at the Nürburgring, with Pascal Costa making his way all the way through to second place. Lewis Ward rounding out the podium in third, with Kamil Grabowski finishing in fourth. Matthias Nogash was fifth. Joe Vegard Goderstad finished sixth, with Sam Fitzpatrick seventh, Matthias Burke, Roger Christensen, and Max Wolf rounding out the top 10 and winning in the AM class. So despite his race one disappointment, Max Wolf moving ahead in the AM class championship. Niels Erik Isaacson was 11th, followed by Levi Johnson, Mark Hutchison, Simone Passoni, Tor Bervin, Kev Copeland, Craig Jones, and Thomas Webwire rounding out the top 18, with Forster and Saul rounding out the top 20. And they were the last on the lead lap. The rest off the lead lap were Matt Chambers, Kevin Stringer, Mark Silcock, Herbert O'Shaughnessy, Joe McCauley, Paul Lange, James Parker, Tom Sleuter, and last but not least, Will Orton, Josh Thompson, Nick Madsen, and Nick Leduc.
Yeah, so as I was saying there, Peter, so the first race that we saw by there was only 3 drivers that were a lap down in the first race, so they were just probably trying to get their eye in, get in the corners as they would see it during the racing aspect of the track. The second one, they all went for it. And unfortunately, there was a lot of incidents in the second one, and obviously the attrition rate, as we saw there with the amount of cars that were a lap down, was quite high, and some very big names going out on that first lap, like Josh Thompson, that will not do his championship points any favours at all. But you can't take it away from Max Kessler. I think today was his round, first round, getting up 15 places to end in quite high, and then Max drove from start to finish of that second race out front. So yeah, a very well deserved race there for Max Kessler.
That it was, I have to agree. Well, we have one of our Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup protagonists joining us in the commentary box right now. Sam Fitzpatrick, what a drive that was, sir.
Thanks, sorry, I just had half a strawberry in my mouth. No, thank you very much. I finished both races, and both in the top 10, I think, so no, pleased.
Indeed, of course, here at the Nürburgring, Sam, it's just that sort of circuit. If you get to the flag relatively unscathed, you're going to be on for a good result. But it had good pace as well in that Evo SR Porsche.
Yeah, I was very pleased. I mean, qualifying, I think, was the best of the season. I think I was like 13th or something. And usually I'm kind of maybe second fastest out of the kind of the Evo SR guys, whereas I think tonight maybe I had like a small advantage. So yeah, it was pretty good. I think I did some racing in the Radical around here a couple of weeks ago, and I realised it's a different car, but I think any experience you get around this track really helps, so that was quite useful. And then yeah, I mean, if you finish, I think Matty, I think it was Mark Hutchinson, I believe, was near the front at the start of race 2, picked up a fast pair, came out of the pits in like 15th, and then a lap later he was in 10th. So yeah, as long as you don't retire, then yeah, you can get a good result around this place.
Sam, it's been a really impressive campaign. This is definitely the most, I would say, the deepest field we've had in the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup. But running up there in the sharp end, up in the, I believe, are you still up in the top 10 of the championship?
I think going into this round, I was just outside the top 10, I was maybe 12th, but I think after tonight, yeah, I should be in the top 10, I think.
That'll be very nice indeed. Now, before you go, Cars or Monsters Inc?
Must you ask? It's, I mean, Cars is, thank you, Marque. I don't think anyone on the broadcast heard that, but, or anyone listening heard that, but no, I can't believe it's actually a question. I mean, Pixar's done so many great films, and that's your favourite one. Sorry, just had to bring it up, didn't you?
I just thought
yeah.
You've had a great day. I thought I might as well ruin it for you.
Yeah, it's annoying that people like you still are allowed to roam our streets.
Well, you go off and you've got potato farming in the morning, so you better go and get some sleep.
Yep, I'll get my shovel. I look forward to it in the morning.
Well done, Sam. Great job.
See ya.
That was a very own Sam Fitzpatrick. Now, Andy, I think it's worth saying that we would normally not treat any of our other interviewees like that.
No, I think obviously we know Sam very well, so he's all fair game, I think, and he is from our Norfolk area, the region, so it takes it all in good stead. Is our Sam.
He does indeed. Well, that is all we have time for tonight here on Apex Racing TV for this round of the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.